Hello and welcome to my trial guide for the level 73 normal mode, the Dancing Plague. Titania is a fun boss and I loved every minute of this fight, so let's break it down so you can get a basic understanding of how it works, highlighting the important abilities to look out for and the phase transitions. The fight has 3 phases in total, a 4th if you really count a repeat of the second, but the first is in this castle hall, the second is an illusionary garden that she creates, and the third with ads. The first part of the fight has the following to look out specifically. Bright Sabbath is the name given to Titania's room-wide unavoidable AoE that you must heal through during the fight. Phantom Rune targets the area in melee range with an AoE to avoid, which is then also followed by Divination Rune sometimes, which puts a large damaging frontal cone AoE in front of her, so make sure that she's facing away from the group at all times. Mist Rune, also signified by the boss shouting wet wet wet, will spawn 4 circles of water. These do 2 things specifically. Firstly, make sure that someone is stood in every one of these. Failure to do so after they finish their countdown from 10, signified by the on-screen balls on the circles, will summon ads. You do not want these ads, they're a pain in the backside, and in general they're a bad idea. And secondly, the water itself will give you fire resistance buffs for standing in it. Titania follows up her attempt to summon ads with the Flame Rune ability, which if it goes off and you're not stood in the water, you will take massive damage. At this point a stack marker will appear and you must make sure that you're in the water circle to have the fire resistance buff, and make sure everyone stands on that stack marker, otherwise you will get massive damage from the stack, which is easily the most common pug killer. Phantom Rune will be cast with a safe zone in melee to run into, with the rest of the room filled with an AoE. You get plenty of time to move for this thankfully, so it's quite lenient in this first phase to learn. When she casts Midsummer Night's Dream, this is her phase transition to phase 2, where she proclaims that she's had enough of this cramped castle. Now you will be in a nature-filled arena. With this comes many new threats. First of which is Growth Rune. She also shouts, twist and sprout during this. You will see that a purple star-shaped mark will appear on the floor. This shows where massive roots will grow and stretch across the room in an outward manner. As they grow, move out of their way to avoid damage. This will return later in the last part of the fight, and I'll explain the differences to that later. Her Phantom Rune will be used again in this phase with the melee safe zone, along with Bright Sabbath, the room AoE from phase 1 to heal through. In this phase, Frost Rune will get Titania to shout squish squish a crimson flower. With this you will see a series of frost circles appear one after another. If you've beaten Shiva before in this game you will recognise this ability, as it's the exact same. Simply move to where an AoE had just gone off and has faded to avoid damage. Straight after, some of your players will get a purple AoE above their head. This is a bomb. Spread these circles out and try not to overlap them too much from their uplift spike explosions. Abilities then repeat, like Phantom Rune. The melee AoE to avoid are back from phase 1, so watch out for those. At around half her health she will transition into her 3rd phase. This is the ad phase and Titania will fill up her power bar. If it reaches 100 you will wipe to her ultimate. As a rule of thumb we prioritise the kill order as Peace Blossom, Puck and then Mustard Seed. Peace Blossom needed to be tanked and so did Puck, but Mustard Seed just stood there casting and didn't seem to be tankable, so we focused the other 2 first. During this phase, each of the ads cause different abilities. Peace Bomb, which is a purple AoE to spread out before they explode from Peace Blossom, Gentle Breeze from Puck, which is a line AoE, and Leaf Storm from Mustard Seed that strikes line AoEs in a fan shape with gaps in between them. Avoid what you can and nuke the ads down in whichever order your group plans. After they actually die, Titania resurrects them with her cast of Love in Idleness. This causes them to be on the sides of a room as Sephiroth-sized bosses. The Vic versions of these ads have the same abilities they just had, however the AoEs are massive in comparison. Do your utmost to split the bombs apart, avoid the line AoEs and stand in safe gaps whilst nuking the bosses in your group's order. We personally focus down Peace Blossom first again, then Puck and then Mustard Seed. In this bit we used the ranged AoE limit break as well to do damage because our group was a little low on DPS. Your group might have similar DPS threshold problems, so save the limit break for this part of the fight. You'll see that we got a lot of the adds down with limit break and priority order with only 78 power on her bar, heal up people to full and then heal the incoming large scale AoE damage from her ultimate. And now we're on the last part of the fight. Mist runes come back, this time with purple AoEs that you have to split on everyone, spread those, then stack on the water to prevent adds spawning, and get that fire resistance buff again. This time she'll use her flame rune at the same time as her phantom rune, so only small sections of the water are safe, so nudge forward to a safe area. Then, when a stack marker comes out, go stack on that player in the water circles. Twist and Sprout from Phase 2 is back, as I said earlier. This time there are 2 star-shaped AoEs opposite each other on the platform. It's basically the same deal as before, you avoid the roots as they spread, but now the roots take up much more of the room in general, so just find a safe area. Tanks should also be aware here that she uses Divination Rune as well, which is her frontal cleave throughout this, so turn her away from the group as much as you possibly can. Aside from that, we get another Frost Rune, Shiva ability to move from, and then more of the same mechanics on loop from before. The only difference I would outline here with this last push is that the last Flame and Phantom runes also have the stack marker at the same time, so you have to stack at the same time as standing in the safe zone in the water together, which looks a lot worse than it actually is, and is fairly easy to pull off at this point in the fight. And that, my friends, is everything that you will need to know about the Dancing Plague and the Titania fight on normal mode in general. You can expect an extreme guide at some point in the future from me as well. Thank you all kindly for watching, hopefully it has helped, and I'll see you all next time.